The disability rights movement, previously called the independent living movement, has been rapidly developing and progressing since its start in the 1960s. Some of the pivotal events of this movement include the passing of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act of 1975, and the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. The Life Center for Independent Living estimates that 1 in 5 Americans suffer from some form of disability. Despite the enormous size of the disabled population, this community is still treated as second-class citizens. They face many issues in areas such as education, civil rights, healthcare, and adequate accommodations in public spaces. In addition to the structural challenges, disabled Americans are also subject to prejudice and discrimination due to their disabilities. One such example comes from an Alabama man named Jerry, a 53-year-old father and partial paraplegic. During an interview, Jerry claims that while waiting in line at a courthouse, an attendant asked, "Who are you here with?" instead of "What can I help you with?" Sadly, this is a normal occurrence in the daily lives of disabled Americans. Jerry claims, "I will adapt. Just make it so I can adapt." In order for disabled Americans to achieve the changes they deserve, they need support and effort from the people around them. In developing countries, living with a disability is much more challenging due to the lack of government support and harsher discrimination. Some of the magnified risks for people with disabilities in developing countries include lack of education, increased likelihood of physical or sexual abuse, discrimination, higher mortality rates, and higher unemployment. For example, China and India both encourage education for disabled children, but do not provide the specialized education that is necessary to properly teach them. One specific example of disability rights abuse comes from Croatia. An anonymous woman, nicknamed Anna, was forced into guardianship by the state of Croatia. Under this guardianship, she had no right to make her own decisions. Anna has spent over half of her life in a psychiatric hospital called Lopaka, where she was denied her freedom and deprived of her basic rights. She has experienced horrendous physical and verbal abuse by the nurses of Lopaka. Similar accounts have surfaced by patients of other Croatian facilities. Croatia has since passed the Family Act, which banishes the full guardianship that strips people like Anna of their basic rights. The disability rights movement has made tremendous progress since its creation. The United Nations and many other countries are making substantial efforts to help their disabled populations. However, in spite of the improving conditions, there is still a long way to go in the fight for disabled rights.